large increase to bring them to a market rate, and our long-term drivers a 3% increase, as well as our director, Phyllis Yip. Her goals for this coming year are to begin using data from our new dispatch system to determine service level needs, use our asset management plan and grant opportunities to keep our vehicles and building in good repair, bring staff training, review records up to date, continue to be a part of this incredible public service our community is so fortunate to have, and to work as a team member with our wonderful staff. The board amended the defined benefit adoption agreement to include a 1% employee contribution for full-time staff enrolled in the defined benefit plan beginning January 1 of 2020. And this was submitted by Lori Slavinsky, our township rep.
Thank you. Fire board.
Last month almost tied the record for September 2018, 80 calls total as opposed to 83 for September 2018. There was an increase in fire calls, 6 total, 1 structure fire in our township, and a vehicle fire on the highway. EMS accounted for 47% of our calls. Township is still the area with the most calls, 279 compared to 209 and 203 in the other cities. 8 motor vehicle incidents for September. We received 2 grant awards. FEMA granted $123,588.09 for radios and headsets, and MMRMA granted $3,150 for fencing for the live fire training.
Thank you. Parks Commission.
Yeah, I missed the last meeting. I believe Griffin updated you on the River Bluff completion. The last time I checked, the grass was growing. Hopefully it held in there through this last rain. Our other big project this past month was a new gate at the dog park, and Lori was instrumental in getting that done, so I'll let her give you some details for that.
Well, we got notice from some park users that dogs are escaping from somewhere in the forested area. So Jim and I went and searched and found that where they had cut the fence to bring in the chips, they had just sort of woven it together, and dogs being dogs, they found that you could easily get underneath. So we continued walking, and we're just about to leave and noticed that there was another hole in the fence that somebody used grapevine to kind of try and fix it to keep the general area from the forested area. So we're about to leave, and I meet up with a friend who's a local contractor, Richard Mead, and we started chatting. He said that when in New Zealand, he's done a lot of fencing for sheep, which are pretty tough on fences. So we walked back and said, hey, you know, would you be interested in this project? He and I talked about possibly taking some gates from another section that's pretty grown over and would probably need a, brush hog to clear it out to make it useful. But in the end, the bid was for brand new fencing, new posts, and then tightening up the fencing on either side, because to disassemble that would take as much time as, would make it kind of cost prohibitive. So he completed the project, looks great. Now, anytime new chicks need to be brought in, there's a good solid gate. They can be closed and easily keeping dogs safely in. The fence has been nicely tightened up, and the other hole's been fixed. So he did a really nice job, and I think it was pretty reasonable, and managed to do it, before the weather changed. And one problem he had was that he needed a key to get through the gate. Do we have a gate key on site for the gate to get back into that back area?
A gate key on site, like at the dog park? Like
here. At the
key, that the city of Saugatuck, I believe, used that old airport area as a dump, I think, a dump for organic waste and so forth, chips, we got our chips. And they have a gate there, and it's locked. We got the key from Glenn, because he often goes back in there. But it might be handy if we also had a key for that?
If he has a key, I believe we do as well.
Okay.
I can't say that definitively. I mean, we've got a door panel full of keys.
Okay.
That's one of the projects that,
Okay.
So you have to take
well,
each one out.
that's one of the projects that when we move forward and are able to do our lock replacement projects, I'm gonna start a spreadsheet that tracks those a little better. But what I would say is, I mean, if Glenn is one of our contractors, has a key to get in, I mean, one way or another, I mean, we're gonna have a key.
Right, and that's how we decided to take care of those ones, to go through Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Kalamazoo Lake and Water and Sewer Authority, I see Mike's not here, so we won't have a report from that. Emergency Services Committee,
Hi, Tony Schiffer. I'm sorry, resident, 2750 Blue Star Highway. I'm your rep for your Central Area Ambulance Service Committee. We had our meeting here last month, and on September 12th, we had 4 of the 6 committee members were there. Also, Dave Scudens, the operation manager from AMR, was there, and he had Martha Andrews, the AMR accountant executive, was there to try and answer some of Griffin's questions and the overview that how the contract was. And I believe Griffin is satisfied with the questions and some thoughts that he brought up to the committee, and the contract is being tweaked a little bit. New signatures are gonna be needed. Did you ever get, I don't know if you got a new one yet or not, or where they're at with that, okay? But general business was all good. They were thankful and glad that we were back at the table. And I was ecstatic to be there. The fact that this all come back into play and things are gonna be going well. I can tell you, and Dave delivers, Mr. Scoochen delivers the AMR report on runs. AMR out of Fenville and some of Holland crews had it covered. We had 33 calls in the south side of Saugatuck Township for the last 3 months. Nothing was out of the ordinary that I could see on response times. Everything looked good, so nothing to report there that would be negative. But yeah, the meeting lasted 26 minutes. I don't know if I'll have that much time anymore to go put into that meeting stuff, but no, I'm gonna get you. The only thing, I don't know if you got a copy of the minutes there, Griffin, but there's a statement on the minutes I'm gonna have them fix. It's the city of Saugatuck is working towards being a heart-safe community. I think Deb misunderstood what I said about being a heart-safe community. David asked the question how I was coming with making my community heart-safe. When I say my community, I mean all 3 entities. I'm one person. I don't have a board. I don't have anybody. It's just me going around teaching CPR. Since January of 2019, I've taught approximately 80 people CPR in our community. I've encouraged people to get AEDs. That happened at Douglas Elementary. Actually, I taught 35 or 38 people through the PTA there, and through that teaching, they ended up getting 2 more AEDs for the Douglas Elementary. So our community is beginning to be more heart safe. So I'll have that direction made. If you guys see that, that's going to happen. But other than that, everything went well. Everybody's happy, and it went well.
thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Open board report, any board members have any comments? Debbie?
I guess just one thing to report is, Ms. Osmond and I, attended the, what's it called, the Emergency Preparedness, something like that, meeting earlier this week at the Trussell Stop for, our county, and it was very informative. I have always had an appreciation for the people that protect and serve us, but this just deepened that appreciation and knowledge of how much is going on behind the scenes with 911, with the health department, the police officers, the emergency services, dispatch. There's so many things being done to protect us from natural disasters, outbreaks, shooting, active shooters. And at one point, and you can correct me or jump in at any time, they did say that we might be receiving like an email or a survey. It's important for us board members to complete that just to be eligible for future money, or is that how you interpreted that?
Some of it went over my head because of a lot of acronyms. but there is going to be a survey going out, and I don't know if it's for everybody or it's just for the boards and
Right, it was unclear, but either way, if you get a survey, any of you get a survey, fill it out. We want to be prepared.
Stacy?
I just wanted to touch on the roundup issue with the guardrails. I'm finding out that the best way to get noticed and a discussion going is if residents come forward and deal with the county directly. I still would like if there was some way to notify people when this is going to be sprayed. I don't know if it's possible, but that might be something to check into. Or flags put out that day. I just am not 100% satisfied that there's nothing that can be done to notify people about this. So I'm willing to work with you if you would like to talk about this further, and maybe we can come up with something.
Okay.
I think it's a really good idea for the residents who have concerns to go to the county road commission meetings, because those are the people that can make the changes. They're in charge of that program, and if there's only been one comment in 2 years, that says there's not very many problems, or people don't know where to go. But it should be done at the county level.
I'm pleased with some of the answers that were given, that it's sprayed one time a year, that's better than 3 or 4, you know, which you could speculate, and that the option is being put out there to maintain your own guardrail. So that's movement in the right direction.
Brenda? I really have nothing except, you know, as the result of tonight's meeting, I'm just happy to see us moving forward with, working together with our 3 communities.
That's really great.
It is. It's wonderful.
Okay, manager reports.
I'll try to keep it really brief, but some things I think the board should be aware of and be proud of that have been accomplished over the last month. But this Monday, the fall 2019 e-newsletter was distributed to over 200 subscribers. Individuals who would still like to sign up for those updates and future newsletters can do so on our website or by emailing info@saugatucktownship.org. Door frames, I know door frame repairs are a relatively minor thing, but it's also been a long time coming. And the repairs are scheduled for this Friday. I can tell you firsthand, when we get rain like days like today, it comes through that broken door frame, so it's a good thing for us just to preserve our building to have those repaired. The township purchased over 1,300 flower bulbs that can be seen over in the back corner that are going to be planted by volunteers in the Douglas and Riverside cemeteries on October 19th in the afternoon. This is the second year that the township's been able to contribute to a project like this, and we're very fortunate to have residents in our area who are willing to donate their time to maintain our cemeteries. So the Prairie Ponds, Mr. Darby development that I mentioned at the last meeting, just to provide a brief update, the township's participated in a joint legal review of the 1998 retail water system contract with Laketown Township, and staff's pursuing an access with conditions approach with the goal of preserving the long-term integrity of our water system. The next steps include Mr. Darby working directly with Laketown Township as that development would occur in Laketown Township to go through their site plan review and PUD processes. As part of that process is Cal Lake Sewer and Water Authority in the township. Our engineers and staff would have an opportunity to review those plans. Staff will continue to review our obligations in the 2000 water agreement with the city of the Village of Douglas, the city of Saugatuck, and Cal Lake Water and Sewer Authority to make sure we're upholding our obligations to both parties. The Lakeshore Drive washout area, a committee was established before I started to discuss this topic. I know it's been an ongoing topic of discussion in the township since the 80s when that washout originally occurred. I've since had several meetings, with the road commission, with engineer, to try to get ourselves caught back up, on this topic. Really, the conclusion I've been able to find so far is that all of the parties involved, there's a lot we would like to see happen in that area. It just comes down to, is there capacity, both financially and staff-wise, to be able to move forward with those different options. I've also been approached by residents since then, to continue looking at this conversation. I think you've seen a letter, in your packet today. So I am looking for board guidance moving forward on whether or not and to what degree we want to continue to pursue this topic. If the township board wants to support it financially moving forward, that would be a major contribution, and we would want to talk about that in terms of looking at next year or future year's budgets. But I can tell you that I have a meeting scheduled with Fire Chief Janik on October 14th to discuss emergency routes. At this point, the staff perspective is if an emergency route is what is desired and needed, that process needs to be led by the fire district. But in the past, when a discussion of emergency routes has occurred, it then has been involved into non-motorized trails and or full roads, and that's why I think there are so many other parties involved. It's obviously a complex topic that I'm more than happy to continue to look at. I will want some township board guidance moving forward at to what degree we are interested in continuing these topics. Really, the last couple short ones are, I'm working to schedule a township board retreat in the next couple months where we can bring someone in to discuss and work with the board for goal and priority setting. I'm right now tentatively looking at November or early December. I think it would be valuable for us to have some goals in place moving into the next calendar year. I will say this will largely depend on the availability of bringing in a facilitator. There's a lot of value in bringing in a third party to go through this goal-setting process, not only because they're professional facilitators, but more importantly, that gives the township board and staff a full opportunity to participate in that goal-setting process. But I will continue to share information and dates with you as they become available. And then lastly, I'll be out of the office tomorrow attending the MTA's regional meeting in Kalamazoo, and I'll bring back any notable information and share it with the township board. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Griffin?
Okay,
Thank you.
Sorry, I do have a question. At what time do you want input from the board, regarding the emergency route, regarding the washout?
At any point, what I would just say is, at a certain point, as everything the township does, I mean, there is without a doubt value in it. It all comes down to a matter of prioritization, and when you're looking at the limited financial resources and staff capacity we have as an organization, it just continues to be helpful for me to know where you all would like my time spent, where you would like our other staff, zoning administrator Renee Wells, a great example going back to miscellaneous engineering fees. I mean, when we have meetings and we bring engineers in, and I mean, there are costs to these. That is not minimizing the value of these projects we work on, but I need guidance from the board overall. So if you have comments, please, I would appreciate hearing them, but eventually, if that is during goal and priority setting processes that we're hoping to have moving forward, or in the budget setting process moving forward, just a more definitive direction on what are the priorities the board would like staff to work on would be very helpful for me.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we're up to public comments. We're gonna give you another opportunity to speak to us. Anybody in the first row? Second row? Third row? Fourth row? Come on up.
I'm coming. On behalf of the Cal Lake Harbor Authority, I would like to say thank you for the first step in, the intent to join. And I do know at a high level, I know there's a lot of details that need to be worked out, but at a high level, both the cities want this to happen as well. So, thank you. And a note to you guys, find a way to keep this.
That's why we're getting the locks changed.
Anybody else want to make a public comment? Seeing none, what is the pleasure of the board?
I move we adjourn this meeting on October 2,
At
7:19.
25 seconds.
Support that? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
Well, I'll be sure to tell you anything. Yeah. No, it's just people have.